Hello and welcome everybody. We have the big Global Lab update from Friday, July 11th. The actual update is a bit small, but at the end there's a big block. So first off, we have more Wukong changes. So on the Riot, aka main weapon stuff, when using a skill, if there's an enemy in front while moving, it has been improved so that it immediately connects to an attack. However, when casting the skill for the first time and rising into the air, it passes through enemies just like before. Sealing and Affliction, they've improved the comboing from Sealing and Tormenting. I mean, we'll have to be double check the names once it comes out. After the skills of Riot and Burning, and it's a waste of time. They've improved the ability to smoothly transition from one skill to another after using the skill. Then we have some item fixes on Cloud's Old Moon Seed Pouch. You can no longer store items other than seed items. Apparently, this was a bug. If you currently have items in that bag, you will be able to take them out but not add them more. The phrase amount of damage received from monsters and the description of some items will be changed. This will be changed to monster damage reduction rate in percentage. Pretty much no big change, but instead of a negative number, we'll get a positive number. That's a nice simplification. The Indian Canon Awakening weapon to exchange for an Achille Awakening weapon request has been removed, as this is no longer the case. The jewels that you can get from mining, apparently you will no longer need to get it appraised through an NPC and get a high enough amity with an NPC. You'll be able to just right-click on it in the bag to get the stones, which is a nice change. The following boxes will only be able to be exchanged one at a time, which is a bit of a weird thing because these are like the main weapon boxes and such, and I do exchange these. So I'm hoping they just mean that you can only exchange the full stack. We'll be keeping an eye out on this. The same thing goes for the beautiful white porcelain, special alchemy tools, and damaged porcelain. They've also added the ability to craft the Callstein costume for Wukong. This is being added now. The Black Shrine party bosses, we now have the big change that you'll be able to enter even after your attempts have been used up. However, you cannot obtain rewards from an additional leader subjugation attempt after using up all the subjugation attempts. So overall, you will be able to run all of them, but you won't be able to get extra rewards from running a different one. But it does mean you can build new teams, combine, and rerun as much as you want. Quest of Knowledge. Here's a slightly big one in the Ulukita South and North categories. They will increase the maximum energy by 1, which means the current maximum will be at 763. Then we have when completing the quest, opening a Wukong Descendant of the Fighting Champion. The title Descendant of the Fighting Champion can now be obtained as a reward. If you already have completed the quest, you can receive the title by talking to your Black Spirit. Then we have a small change in one of the guild skills. The Executioner's Declaration skill, which summoned the Doomcaller, will be changed from a 2-hour cooldown to a 1-minute cooldown, and up to 2 mounts can be summoned depending on the numbers registered in the guild mount manager. Then we have the big UI change of the worldwide family character management. So first off, you'll be able to see your family characters on the world map with the locations being listed on the right. They will also be bundled in the regions. So in the Balenos region, we can see 2 and 1. So these two are bundled into one group. Clicking on a character in the list will move the camera to where that character is located. However, if the character is located in an area like desert or ocean where navigation is not possible, without a compass, the camera will not move even if you click on it. That is a small little caveat for the new worlds. Right-clicking on the character will also open a menu where you can manage your character. So we have number 1, switch to selected character. You can log out of the currently logged in and log in on the selected. Character movement, you can move the character to the desired location. There are some limitations, so you can only move your character based on a base you have already discovered. Moving to a normal base costs 5,000 silver, but moving to a larger city is free. Moving a character takes 20 minutes, regardless of distance, so the same as the current transfer system. As before, if there's a mount carrying trade goods, the character cannot move. If the currently connected character does not have a compass, you cannot move a character located in a desert or ocean to another location, or move a character from an area to a desert or ocean. With the addition of this feature, the character movement button in the existing character selection screen has been removed, so the original character transport will be removed. Then we have the third option here is view the character's equipment and bag. You can check the bag of the selected character and get items via the maids. In the 4, you can add a note which can leave, which will be displayed as a red text above their character name. So here we can see, well, in Korean, an example that it gets added above their character name, and you can also delete the note, which is the 5th option. So effectively, you can pretty much put above the name Nuverold, even though you already see that it's at Nuver, so that can help as well if you want to just use the list. Then we have quick fixes and changes. There's a pad issue where the guild information view and the guild invitation window was not displayed. Then they fixed a small issue with the awkward tree location in southern neutral zone. Then there was a phenomenon of the Millennium Herb floating in the air at certain locations. This has been fixed. Also an issue with certain buildings located in Orze's house stronghold on the world map were in awkward locations. They also fixed an issue where characters would get stuck in fence structures at certain locations in the Golden Pig Cave. They also fixed an issue where page turning function of the rental list would not work when 21 or more mounts were rented, and the issue where the icons for items stored in Marco's equipment bag on a ship were displayed awkwardly has been fixed. Then we have the biggest part of the update, a notice on the renewal of damage calculation. So originally this was planned for today's update. This will be pushed back currently to July 18th. The official server is aiming to apply it on July 23rd or at the latest July 30th. This is a really big change. We're going to go through everything as best we can with the translations. So again, we just have the overall coming. None of this is finalized, so do take note. This is not going to be guaranteed that it will get implemented like this, but it is currently the plan. So first off, we have the improved ability UI to add detailed ability information. This will get streamlined into a more manageable view. Then we have the limiting of mouse movement while using skills. So this will be coming at that point as well. Pretty much everything all at once. Then we have the increased additional attack power of monsters, so monster AP with +8 for every 1 AP if you're at 310 or higher. This is going to be absolutely massive of an increase on monster AP. With this, we also have the hunting ground balance adjustments. So first off, adjustments of monster attack power, defense power, and attack power limits on hunting grounds. The required AP/DP for each hunting ground is further specified. If the maximum AP limit is exceeded, every single spot will now become a 5% cap. So we see the additional attack power will be applied only at 5%. We can also see some examples. So here we have the Darkseeker's Retreat. Existing maximum attack power limit 1,150. Now it will be changed to 1,490. Goblin Forest, which should be Dokubi Forest, is 1,300. This will be 1,445. Decade Crescent is 1,000. It will move to 1,350. And Quint Hill is going to go from 920 to 1,295. And once this has been reached, it will then reach the 5% cap. Then we also have hunting loot adjustments. So the with these changes, the loot obtainable during hunting will be adjusted to allow for profits that match the required abilities. Agris efficiency. So previously, hunting grounds that were good for use on Agris Fever were classified separately, but now this distinction will disappear as well. The efficiency of Agris Fever will be adjusted to a similar level in all hunting grounds, so you can use Agris Fever efficiently that match your abilities. So we're not going to have Agris spawns as much anymore. There will probably still be spikes, but it should be balanced out. Another big change, the Turos will be changed to be a private hunting ground. I'm guessing this is going to be a solo hunting ground, so it will not remain a duo grand spot. I'm hoping that Dekia remains a duo grand spot, but we'll have to see. Currently, it just says Turkuta, which would be the non-Dekia, but this is so people can get the Ember of Despair more easily. Then we have changes to the damage reduction rate. So all buff effects gained when using skills with damage reduction effects will be changed to not stack. So here we see an example, the damage reduction, when the damage reduction effect of the protected area, so from the witch, is applied, the damage reduction rate of the 5 elements symbiosis technique is not applied together. So the higher one of the two. So the rejecting body effect has changed, so you cannot receive damage reduction buffs that last longer than 6 seconds, or have a skill effect of 50% or more while under the body debuff. So here we see in the case of Corsair Awakening's skill, the fact that you cannot receive the same effect due to a separate debuff remains. So even if you have that debuff, you can still receive the effect of the protected area, and you cannot receive Laval's help. Buff application rules in Black Desert, we have the info among buffs of the same type, the one with the higher effect is applied first, and when the effects have the same numerical value, the buff with the longer duration is applied. When using a buff with the same effect as the buff that is already applied, the duration is renewed as well. And if you use a buff with a higher value than the buff already applied, the buff will be refreshed with that effect. And if you use a buff with a lower value, it will not be applied. This should be the way it's already implemented, but effectively it's the big change on the damage reduction effects. Then they are going to bring out changes to effective specialization technology. So the following effects are removed from the skill specialization. I'm pretty sure this is the skill add-ons. So we're going to get a removal of the monster AP and the human AP and human DP, so human damage reduction. So now the monster additional attack power increased value will be changed to bonus monster attack. Accordingly, the effect and the skills will be removed. The additional damage effects for humans will be is only applied to monsters, and the buff applied during PvP has been changed to adventure additional AP. So the additional damage effect for humans will be removed. This is changed so that the skill specialization can be used equally in PvE and PvP. We're gonna get to it a bit later. I did skim read it. There's gonna be more changes with these skill add-ons that will be affected. Then we have hit and dodge. As previously announced at the height of all character skills will have their skill hit rate and hit rate increase effects gained when using a skill removed. In addition, the skill hit rate skills that summons will also be removed. So the hit rate equivalent of the existing standard hit rate of 25 for each character, 100% when replaced with hit rate, is added to the Infinite Mastery skill. However, the hit rate increase effects and passive skills are applied by replacing the hit rate with 4 AP per 1% hit rate. Accordingly, the hit efficiency of characters with hit power increases, increased passive skills increases as well. The effect of decreased hit rate, increased evasion rate. Decreased evasion rate will be applied as 4 AP per evasion power per 1%. Effects that increase the hit rate that are applied to allies are replaced with hit power and their values adjusted, so more AP. Then we have the big compatibility coefficients. So this will be set for classes depending on the attacker and victim in PvP. So we have damage ratios being more simplified. It will be changed to be divided into 3 groups. So here we have the Guardian group, which, I mean, right now we just see Warrior. This, as far as I know, was the Succession Warrior, probably Succession Giant. In the case of Valkyrie, it is... Oh, actually, no, we have the list. So yeah, Succession Warrior, Giant, Valkyrie, Striker, Guardian, Nova, Corsair, and Dracania are on the Guardian list for Succession. And Awakening, we have the Valkyrie, Mystic, Shy, Guardian, and Scholar for the Ascension class. Then we have the Rush, or as they also phrased it, Surge group, which is the Meiwa, Succession, Dark Knight, Mystic, Wusa, Megu, and Dosa. And then we have the big list for Awakening: Warrior, Sork, Ranger, Berserker, Tamer, Musa, Wizard, Witch, Ninja, Kunoichi, Striker, Lon, the Messenger, Hashashin, Sage, Nova, Awakened Dracania, and Wukong. And then we finally have the Onslaught group, which is going to be the Succession Sork, Ranger, Tamer, Musa, Wizard, Witch, Ninja, Kunoichi, Lon, Hashashin, Sage, with the Awakening or Ascension class for Meiwa, Dark Knight, Archer, Corsair, Wusa, Megu, Dosa, and Deadeye. The relationship between the groups will be the Guardian will do 5% additional damage to the Onslaught group. So here we see from this group, we'll do 5% to this one. Onslaught will do 5% to the Rush group. And then finally, this Surge will do 5% to the Guardian. So it's effectively jumping down. They 5% damage extra this way, 5% this way, and 5% this way. The compatibility of a coefficient for all characters will be unified to 89.29. Accordingly, the PvP damage of each character will be adjusted to maintain the current PvP damage. So we get an example. In the case of the Dark Knight, the current average compatibility coefficient is 91.79. So when the compatibility grouping is performed, the PvP damage of all skills will be increased by 2.5. They've also changed the expression for damage reduction rate in PvP. So now in the skill description, the expression damage reduction rate during PvP will be changed to application rate during PvP. So we have that changing from 68% to 32% in this case. Then we have summoner related adjustments. This is important for the summons. The special damage increase will be applied to the summoned creature's attacks, so the overall damage dealt by summoned creatures will increase. To prevent the damage increasing excessively, the damage of the skills that are directly attack summoned creatures will be adjusted. Then we have adjustments on the effects of increased AP and decreased DP and increased special attack damage. So currently in Black Desert, there are cases where the actual attack power differs when wearing the same equipment, depending on the characteristics. However, in the future, defensive power of monsters will be greatly refined so that they can be most efficient in hunting grounds that match their attack power. So meaning of attack power will be much greater than before. Accordingly, the gap in AP between classes will be alleviated, and the coefficients of skills that were balanced will be taken into account. So effectively, we see, for the same reason, the defense reduction effect and special damage increase will also have a greater impact than before, so they will be adjusted together. So in order to prevent the percentage reduction effect from becoming too strong in upper level hunting grounds, all skills that reduce defense by a percentage, such as Shy's Cloud Barrier, which I think is the Misty, will be changed to a fixed value effect. Along with this, the balance of party hunting grounds, such as Olin's Valley, will be adjusted, and a patch to improve Shy's PvP abilities, including increased damage, will also be implemented. So be careful for the Shy ankle biters, they're going to be out in force. There is another note that the special damage increase effects will be reduced or removed, and these effects will be changed to other effects that suit the characteristics of the classes. Then we have class balance adjustments. They would also like to inform us that even after the damage calculation renewal update is implemented, they want to closely monitor the situation and class balances will happen accordingly. Then we have adjustment of resistances and resistance ignoring effects. So the resistance reduction and ignore effects are applied when a hit is successful or when a skill is used will be removed, and the power increasing skill with the grab resistance will also be removed. So the passive effects of the following skills will be changed. So we have Musa and Meiwa, Hashashin, Dosa, and Valkyrie getting changes on some skills. Then we also have the buff effect of the following skills will be changed. This is again Hashashin, Sword Warrior, Berserker. This should be Tamer, Musa, Ninja, Striker, Mystic, Nova, Sage, Corsair, and Dosa again. Then we have the adjusting to the grapple to resistance removal. So all grab techniques will have an effect added to indicate that it is a grab technique. I'm guessing it's the timer that pops up here. That should be maybe a little bit good, but overall. So as this is a very important part of PvP, they've optimized the quality so that it can be seen in all graphic settings, or even with the effect opacity being set low. However, if the character is not on your screen, it will not be visible. So we see changes to the grab skill. Close range and long range grab skills will be changed so that the character rotates towards the camera, and only immediately after the grab is cast and cannot rotate afterwards. The dash grab technique will also be changed so that the character rotates towards the camera only during the start of the dash and cannot rotate immediately before the grab. So they will be able to dash in a certain direction, but then they will grab in that direction as well. The grab technique will also be changed so it is not affected by the increase or decrease in attack/casting speed, regardless of success or failure. Here we see for close range grabs, the preceding actions will be adjusted to 0.3 seconds. To be honest, I don't see me getting away from anybody in 0.3 seconds. And the fact that it's going to be a 100% chance, that is crazy. For the movement grabs, the preceding actions will be adjusted to take 0.3 to 0.4 seconds, depending on the distance. This is including the rushing time. And then for the long distance grab, the preceding actions will be adjusted to take 0.4 to 0.7 seconds, depending on the distance. The timing at which a catch fails and chained to another skill becomes possible will be unified to 0.4 seconds after failure. We also have a guide to resetting skills and skill presets to ensure stable application of everything. All character skills will be reset when the update is made, so do take screenshots of your add-ons and skills if you have certain setups. And all currently acquired skills and saved presets will be reset, and skill specializations will also be reset. So please make sure you screenshot things before this update comes out, preferably now, just so you have something in the bag. Then they have further information on item changes due to the damage calculation renewal. So we have the phrase additional damage to all races will be changed to additional attack power to all races. As the human race additional attack power effect will be changed to not apply to adventurers, the adventurer's additional attack power effect will be added to the item effects of all race additional attack power effect among the main weapons and awakening weapons effects. The following items related to ignore resistance will have their effects changed or the item will be removed. So other than the resistance ignoring effect that these items have, the other effects will remain the same. They do note if you're holding an item that will be deleted when the official server is updated, they will pay you silver in equivalent to the value. So here we see the secondary, so Kutum Blackstar, the ignore all resistance will be an increase all resistance by 10. This is mostly just for PvE then. Same thing goes for the Rosars. The Manos Waikoro belt will get an increased all resistance by 7. Actually, sorry, in the case of Rosars, we're actually going to get all AP plus 20 for the Rosars. Then you see the Pension Pomegranate item. I'm not quite sure what that is. It's pretty much ignore all resistance plus N%. This will be deleted. The Kronset meal full of delicacies will also have the ignore all resistance removed. Magic crystal items, effects of ignoring various resistances will be removed. One exclusion from this is the Alcars and Visionary Alcars. In that case, they will have an accuracy plus 18 added and an accuracy plus 30 on the Alcar's crystal and the Visionary Alcar. Lightstone or combinations of lightstones with various resistance ignoring effects. They're going to remove the lightstone in combination with the resistance ignore effect. In the case of the Kutum lamp buff, the ignore all resistance will be changed to increase all resistances. However, if you have the furniture buff active on a character, it will be removed. Due to the deletion of some resistance ignoring crystals, the items below will also be deleted. So we have the Essence of Bravery, Fragments of Bravery, the Essences of, the Ignore Knockdown, Knockback Grabs, and Stun Resistance crystals. The following items will also be removed from exclusive equipment from AOS: the Time Spirit Crystal Penetration, the Captain's Crystal, and the Ignore Knockdown, Knockback Grab, and Stun Resistance. One thing that is a nice little change for sea monster content: the sea stones that were previously divided into additional AP to ocean monsters and to ships will be integrated. So we do have a note that the additional damage to sea monsters will have an effect of additional damage to ships added to it, and after the sea stone with the effect of additional damage to ship will be deleted, they will grant sea stones with the effect of additional damage to ocean and ships combined. That is a nice little change. It means you're not going to have to choose between grinding for PvP or PvE. And with that, we have the massive update with a lot of information. We got a TLDR. Overall, a lot of these changes, there's going to be a lot of people worried about a few things. I personally find these grab times to be pretty damn low. I mean, the difference between 0.3 and 0.4 seconds, or even 0.3 and 0.7, I don't see being able to react on a stationary class to that if I'm going to see somebody do that. Because, yeah, it's definitely not a lot of time to react, and I think the grabs are going to be crazy for a while. The damage adjustments, I mean, okay, that is quite nice. The fact that there's a lot of grab classes in the rush that do 5% extra is a little bit worrying. I mean, there's a lot of grab classes across the board, but still, the 5% on the Guardian class is quite rough. Then the hit and dodge changes. I mean, that's all very nice. The monster AP is absolutely going to spike. It's a little bit nice to know that everything will be a 5% spot, but at the same time, I mean, the AP or caps are moving up. That is a nice little balancing act. I mean, overall, the +8 for every 1 AP will be absolutely massive for grinding. The mouse removal, a lot of people have been loving this and hailing it. And otherwise, the improved UI is also just a great little bonus. The character control over the map, really nice. Hopefully, it'll be nice and balanced. Being able to move characters is absolutely great. And with the quest changes as well, I mean, another 2 energies great. I was sad that they didn't add any energy for that knowledge, but the GMs have been doing events getting that knowledge to people, which is also quite nice. Also, the monster, well, the group party entries being unlimited now will also be absolutely great. And otherwise, it's a fairly solid update. Mostly just info for next week's or even 2 weeks update, but we'll see when that happens.